There it is. Okay, well, hello everybody. Welcome to Tom's Guitar Show. I'm Tom. They call me Guitar Tom because I'm often seen with a guitar. And they call me on the phone. They ask me, they say, hey man, what's your show about anyway? I say, oh, it's about an hour. It's about guitars, guitar players, all things guitaristic. So if you want to call me on the phone, there will be a number on your screen from time to time. You can dial it up and ask me a question about the care and feeding of your guitar, what kind of guitar is right for you, how to play guitar, or some related topic. We can talk about the guitarrón, the guitarra, the sitar, lutes, uds, vihuelas, banjos, balaicas, bazookas, bajos, sextos, tiples, cavaquinhos, mandolas, mandoras, mandolins, mandocellos, banjolins, guitarrones, bass guitars, bassoons, sack butts, and crumb horns and quartholts, saxophones, harmoniums or harmonicas, or harpsichords, or clavichords, or pipe organs, piccolos, clarinets, clavinets, saxophones, sack butts. Maybe said sack butts already, but who knows? Trombones, trombomarinas. I mean, anything you make music. Sax and violins on television. Anything musical.
All the way up to xylophones and zithers.
That's right. We talk about zithers if you want. I've read about them quite a bit. There's a different tuning in Bavaria, apparently, from the rest of the zither world, but it's a long story. But I only know what I read about those things. So, anyway, politics, world events, your own personality problems is fine. Just keep it clean. I mean, it's a family show. So anyway, see if I can get this in tune. I just restrung this thing late last night, and I've been busy today.
That looks like a guitar we haven't seen before.
Yeah, I'm afraid you haven't. I have GAS, guitar acquisition syndrome, and so I acquired this one. The thing is, I don't really watch TV. I'll confess that. I mean, I'm on TV every week, but I don't really watch the thing. But I look at the computer. I watch video clips. I look at the weather report. The weather, and they have these ads that come up. And most of my ads are music related. I know when I was looking for a car, they were all car related, but then I went back to guitars and stuff. And so, because I guess they know what I'm looking at, they follow me around online. I just hate to think if I were like into looking a lot of porn, what my
Everybody sticks a cookie on you, and that's what the ads are that comes up.
That's right. So, anyway, so I saw this deal for actually, it was the next one up of this series. It has a cutaway. And this one was a little cheaper, and I started thinking about it, because this is like bigger than a classical guitar, but this was only $899, but this is through Sweetwater. And I'm hoping I'm not violating anything, because I'm not doing an ad for Sweetwater, but it's an online music store. I think it's out of Indiana, actually. But anyway, so they had a deal, which I think might have ended yesterday, where you could get 36 months financing without interest. So this is basically a $900 guitar, $899, so no tax and no finance charges. So basically it's $25 a month for 3 years. And I thought, well, I haven't had a credit card since the last time I bought a Taylor. That was $2,700. But this one's unusual because it's made in Mexico. And the top is solid, the sides and back are laminated. Which if it were a real classical, I mean like a not electric classical guitar, I wouldn't want, because it wouldn't sound right. But for the money, it was a really good deal. And of course, it was the $899 was a sale price. So I decided to get it. And I'm getting back into credit a little bit. I'm hoping to be judicious this time, because my guitar acquisition syndrome was acute a dozen years ago or so.
Yeah.
But somewhere between like 12 and 15 years ago. So I had to actually pay things off. Took a while, but I'm anyway. But I like this. It's bigger and different from my other electric classical guitars. It's a much bigger body, and it's a different voice. It's also sort of slightly smaller neck. It came all ready to go with medium gauge strings, and I put on the super hard. And I don't know if it's a cultural thing. Maybe if I should be xenophobic, or if I am xenophobic, or if there's something wrong with me morally. But Mexican guitars.
Xenophobic is a fear of strangers.
That's right. Well, the fear of the outsiders.
Yeah.
So Mexico is, part of North America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But outside the US of A, I guess.
Well, yeah, but I'm going with the continent, you see.
Yeah.
Because I have, not that long ago, I acquired a Canadian guitar. Earlier in the summer, that black shiny one that I've had in the show a number of times, and I play every Friday, Saturday night at the Tuscan Moon, made in Quebec, French Canada. But that doesn't bother me, because my parents are both French teachers.
You say you play every Friday and Saturday night at the Tuscan Moon?
Almost every Friday, Saturday night.
Is that in Kelowna?
It's in Kelowna, yeah. Sometimes I take a night off because I play somewhere else, but
That's right down Highway 1 from Iowa City, isn't
it
it?
sure is. Yeah, I'll be there this Friday and Saturday night. I'm supposed to start at 6, so I'll start a little bit after 6:30. Be late, And I'm supposed to play till 9. I'll probably play till about 10. But yeah, Kelowna, Iowa, about 20 miles or so, maybe even less, South Iowa City. Highway 1, or I actually recommend going down Highway
218.
Yeah, turn right on exit 80, you say it is? Yeah. Highway 22 at Riverside,
Yeah.
future birthplace of Captain Kirk, real happening town. And
They can look for that canyon in the movie.
that's right, that canyon and the mountains, yeah, of eastern Iowa. But anyway, you just go through Riverside, and it's about 7 miles out of Riverside. The next town over is Kelowna. You just take the left where it says Business District. There you are, Tuscan Moon. But I would say Tuscan Moon, which you can, Tuscan as in Tuscany, Moon as in, that large satellite in the sky that reflects sunlight at us. It's you should make reservations though. Some nights are just packed, And sometimes it's kind of slow. It's sort of that in-between thing, like one night was kind of slow, the next night was packed. So, well, anyway,
We should mention we have a young guy in the studio tonight.
yeah, some guy named Duncan, he's on the camera there. We're gonna put Duncan on camera here for a second. Yeah. We're trying to put you on camera so you can, yeah. It's not exactly a hazing process, it's just part of, see, the new guy, so, yeah. Step up the mic and switch over there, will you? Oh, there he is, okay. Yeah, here's the new guy. So your name is Duncan and you're just taking the class? Are you a volunteer? Are you an intern?
I'm the new intern first day.
You're a new intern. This is your first day on the job. Mm-hmm. You're working on Tom's Guitar Show. That's not unusual, actually. This has happened many times. We probably won't forget you. Well, we'll probably sort of forget you because they come and go.
Depends on if you come back or not.
That's right.
That's a good point.
This is a very boring show and very predictable. It's a guy up with a guitar talking to Bob and playing some tunes, and so it's really easy to work on your first, for your first shoot. Now you go out and do a basketball game or something like that. That's kind of hard. You got to follow those kids, running around dribbling a ball on the court, But this is pretty easy, you see. So we break you in easy on this. Used to be kind of a hip show. Now it's a show for old men. So you can anyway. Well.
So whenever we get somebody young shows up.
Yeah. So you film studies or a student or something, or?
Yes, I'm a film studies student.
Oh, okay. So that's what brings you here, is to get experience and resume building or something.
Yeah, in fact, my only other experience is following up all around with one of these cameras. So yes, it is much easier.
Yeah. Okay. Well, welcome aboard. And
Where are you from?
Urbandale,
oh, okay.
outside of Des Moines.
Yeah. I know where that is. I've been there. I think I have a niece who married a cop. Is he West Des Moines or Urbandale? I can't remember. He was one or the other in the police force. So if you step out of line in one of those two towns, maybe those two towns, maybe he'd be my nephew. If he's married to my niece, he'd be my nephew, wouldn't he? So by marriage. So maybe my nephew can arrest you. So just bear that in mind. Well, don't worry about it. I'm sure you're not likely to get arrested.
Keep an eye out.
Yeah, okay. Well, welcome aboard. Hope you come back. We'll have you directing next week or something. Maybe. So,
Well, I
okay.
look forward.
Okay, well, something to look forward to. Yeah.
Our director says he'll be gone for the next 3 weeks, so.
We need you. So I hope you're here next week. Next week we're going to do, it's a Halloween show. It's the 28th, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Get in costume.
Yeah, okay. Well, next week we're going to do once a month we do a show from the upstairs at Uptown Bill's Coffee House. We run some cables through the floor. There's a coffee house up there, up through the ceiling. I mean, I'm pointing at the sky, but it's actually there's the next floor up, and the upstairs is Uptown Bill's Coffee House. And once a month we do a program from there. So we try to do them in, somewhat seasonally, whatever. So next week will be a few days before Halloween. I think Halloween's on Friday, but in fact, I know it's on Friday. So, okay. All right. I'll see you later. I'm going to put, oh, here we go. So let's see what's happening with Bob here. Okay.
Oops.
Yeah. Oh, it's not working.
Jim turned off the chroma key.
No, it's on. It's just that you're not green enough.
Well, best laid plans, I guess.
Yeah.
But
You're blue now.
that direction, all right.
Well, you're sort of transparent. I'm going the wrong way. Okay, so on that camera. Yeah?
Yeah, we have to do it left-handed, I guess.
No, it's not
Anyway,
gonna.
Halloween show next week, Uptown Bill's Coffee House,
Yeah.
corner of South Dubuque and Lafayette. Come down and watch the magic.
That's right. I'll, in case you don't know what's going on, Bob here is wearing a green shirt. And we have a chroma key, but now we have a more sensitive.
And it doesn't closely enough match the chroma key of the wall.
Yeah, so the walls are actually green here. We don't have the set you're looking at is all fake. Well, Bob, that's not green enough.
It's all virtual.
It's all virtual. It's got a kind of a greenish, there's more of a bluish hue to it. Oh well. Anyway, so Yeah, so next week, we're going to do Uptown Bills. So we need all the help we can get. We'll be upstairs, have a few guests on. I hope Bob will have some pearls of wisdom for us. I might have something.
But if you've ever thought you'd like to see this show made, there's your chance.
That's right. You can see all the magic being made. And anyway, I should probably play something, huh? If I can't get this in tune. Ah.
Go ahead, go back.
Sorry about this, but Well, this is a very different kind of guitar from that shiny black one that I bring on the show, or that blonde electric flamenco guitar I bring on the show. Among the three guitars that I have that are acoustic electric nylon strings, they're very different. It's an interesting concept. It's one of those things, people make the connection, they'll compare it with shoes. People who have a lot of shoes, you got your shoes for hiking, you got your shoes for running outdoors, and your shoes for running on the indoor track. And of course, you got your brown shoes that go with these clothes, and you got your black shoes, and your work boots with the steel toe. Those without the steel toe, and you got your grungy old sneakers you use when you want to mow the lawn. You got your shiny black shoes that you don't want to scuff, and you only wear them when you wear your tux. Then you got your other black shoes that you wear, for the sort of semi-formal dress, when you're dressed up, but not that. See, it goes on like that. That would be. This isn't exactly my bag. Now, women, of course, will have even more shoes because they have to have more than just the brown and the black. They have to have all these other kinds of hues, So, bowling shoes and, I don't know, shoes to wear when you're waiting at the beach. And I don't know, man. But me, it's guitars, So I have like specific types of guitars. This one is electric nylon, suitable for classical music, kind of more Latin flavored jazz, flamenco.
You can probably do folksy stuff on that, can you?
Yeah, I go. It's actually a little bit better folk guitar than the other two that I have. Not bad. The electric flamenco guitar makes a much better flamenco guitar, this one does. That's what I was looking for. That wasn't really flamenco, of course. And back when I used to get a lot of views on YouTube, back in the old days, I would play something and say, this isn't really flamenco, of course, but this is just like using some flamenco techniques with some sort of South American rhythms of various kinds and a contemporary finger style and amalgam like that, And I get all these comments, people saying, that's not flamenco. You are ruining flamenco. And the guy just got done saying that it wasn't flamenco. It's just, I mean, I've obviously tried to play flamenco. I had a guy, though, get him, Arturo Martinez, who was Spanish, he said. But he told me that a guy like me would never be able to play anything even resembling flamenco because I just didn't have the cultural background. He said with his accent, you were just a guy from Iowa. And he said he could play flamenco, but he would never truly be great because he wasn't Romani, he wasn't a gypsy, you see. And so I'm just not a big fan of racism, or sexism or a lot of other isms. I think people are individuals, and if you really, I think if a guy from Iowa really wanted to immerse himself in the Romani culture and learn flamenco guitars, I think it probably could do really wonderful things and maybe, show some of the people down in Andalusia a few things, But for me, see, I'm not trying to be authentic on anything. I'm just going to play guitar the way I want to play guitar. Because if you want to listen to Maneja Zaplata or Paco Peña or somebody like that, Sabicas, they made records. You can get the record and listen to them, And they have like the cultural background and they come from the right background, everything. And
Maybe an Iowan should never play anything but Meredith Wilson.
Right. Well, obviously, people in Iowa, they pretty much sent all the natives away, and some of them came back, but they, in the 19th century, they got rid of all the natives and divided Iowa up into neat little squares for different immigrant populations. So you have your Dutch enclaves and your Germans and your Irish and everybody, and a lot of Bohemians.
Yeah, here in the Cedar Valley, the Bohemians.
The Bohemians, yeah, and which is great. And we were talking about Bohemians last week, and I suppose Moravians and Slovakians, but Dvorak, and anyway. But see, the thing is that the real music, that people would have around here. You have there used to be Leo Grieco's show was on TV when I was a kid. I think he had a radio show too later, but he had a TV show, and they'd have women in kind of long dresses, and men dancing polkas, and he'd go, oh, that was their thing, oh, and they'd play the accordion, and they'd have a band, and they'd have polka dancing on Saturday morning, and so there's that, and then there was Lawrence Welk, of course, who wasn't from Iowa, but he was from North Dakota or someplace, wasn't he?
One of the Dakotas, yeah.
So, a neighboring state.
From a German-speaking community.
Yeah, they got thrown out of Eastern Europe because of World War II or something like that, or one of the wars because of, there's always this sort of people crossing over and Germans settling farther east and then getting thrown out by the local Slavs. Once again, it's because of racism and xenophobia. And, of course, some Germans, of course, did horrible things, but not every German did a horrible thing. And they're just,
that, and we have the Amish just south of us. It's the German-speaking community.
yeah. Well, and then they have the Mannans. To the
I
west
think they
of
were
us.
Swiss, weren't they?
I thought they were German.
Yeah, maybe so.
I don't know. Anyway, I know some of the Mennonites were Swiss. A lot of them were. But anyway, I don't know.
Well, the Mennonites are the same religion as the Amish, just
Yeah.
a different group of them.
Yeah. Well, different degrees of it all. So,
Like the difference between the Episcopalians and the Anglicans.
right.
Not much.
Yeah. But anyway, so getting back to my musings on these things. I mean, there are people who want to play traditional music exactly the way maybe somebody else played it for some brief period of time in history. The traditional Scottish ballads, that may have been handed down over, generations, and then they.
Or you can't play a banjo unless you do it like Bill Monroe.
Or that was Bill. That's a mandolin, but.
Oh, mandolin. Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
but Earl Scruggs.
Earl Scruggs. Okay.
Earl Scruggs was an innovator back in the 1940s.
You can tell which one of us is the musician, can't you?
Yeah, well, Well, that's one of those jokes, like the banjo player joke is how many banjo players does it take to screw in a light bulb? So, well, 5. One to actually screw it in, and 4 stand around saying, "That ain't the way Earl did it." And I almost brought a banjo on the show. I should mention we're going to do a gig, a band that was Tom and the Tribbles, but I think we're going to call ourselves the Ratchets, because we're going to play at the True Value Hardware store, which should be a nice day on Saturday afternoon from 12:30 to 2. At the True Value Hardware, the Ace Hardware on North Dodge Street, corner of North Dodge and Church Streets. Donna will be there with her ukulele and being the lead singer, and Joey with her string bass, and Lee will be on rhythm guitar. Ed will be playing mandolin, and I'll be switching between guitar and banjo, and try to play maybe half the show I'll do with banjo, I suppose. I haven't decided yet, but I rather enjoy playing the banjo. But I don't play the banjo the way Earl Scruggs did. I've been informed, by Earl Scruggs' style, and I have a great deal of respect for him. If I don't play banjo like Earl Scruggs, it doesn't mean that I hate Earl Scruggs. I really like, who he was and what he did for music and for banjo, and I think he was great. Great, an innovator, and he kind of invented the bluegrass banjo in a sense. He took some other things that people did before him, and he, took off with them, and with Bill Monroe and his band and the whole bluegrass thing. Of course, bluegrass was an invention of the 1940s. It's not traditional music. It has a lot of traditional music basis to it, but it's another form, a new form. It's like rock and roll happened in the 50s. It was sure it was based on country music and blues, rhythm and blues, but so.
If you're an Earl Scruggs fan, I'll bet you know the answer to this question.
Right.
What's the first thing you know?
I don't know.
Old Jed's a millionaire.
Old Jed's a Millionaire. First thing you know, Old Jed's a Millionaire. I can play that. I learned that in high school on banjo. Listen to my story about a man named Jed. Poor mountaineer, barely kept his family fed. Then one day he was shooting at some food, and up through the ground come a bubbling crude. Oil, that is. Black gold. Texas tea. Well, first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. The kinfolk said, "Jed, move away from there." They said, "California is a place you ought to be." So they loaded up the truck and they moved to Beverly Hills, that is. Swimming pools, movie stars.
Diamond rings and Cadillac cars.
What?
Diamond rings and Cadillac cars.
Is that in there?
I think that's the next line.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't remember that. Well, I have to look it up. But anyway, I because of my inquisitiveness when it comes to musical matters, that Earl Scruggs, the Flatt Scruggs played that, but the singer was basically a voice actor and not really from down in the homeland there. He was anyway. Where was Jed supposed to have come from anyway? Is that Kentucky or is it Oklahoma or where is it?
Well, I've heard various stories. Some people said the Ozarks and some say the Appalachians. I don't suppose it really matters.
I suppose not, yeah. Hillbilly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there was one of these stories that I heard that say, well, if ever the city folk get over on the country folk in that one, that they withdraw the use of that song or something like that. And the other thing was that the guy, Werner Klemperer, who played Colonel Klink in Hogan's Hero, said if ever the Nazis got over on the other people, he was off the show. And that was his deal, because he was, of course, Jewish, and his father, Otto Klemperer, who was a famous conductor, had a lot of trouble with the Nazis. And it's one of those things, because he's a great conductor.
The guy that was LeBeau was a Jew who had done time in a concentration camp.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Yeah. I think most of them were Jews. A lot of them were Jews. I mean, the Nazis were all Jews. General Burkhalter or whatever, those guys were all Jewish. Sergeant Schultz, John Banner, was a Jew. I heard he actually, he made some money in doing that role and everything like that, but he escaped, the Germany after Kristallnacht or whatever, and then but he moved back when he retired. He didn't want to be in Hollywood anymore, and he moved back and finished his life off in Germany, where he was from. So, anyway. Well, that's interesting. Anyway, I've been having a good time with this, and I think it's really bright and sharp. I'm working on it. This is actually a new setup. I'm using this mod tone reverb and this very, very plain electric guitar amp. It's called an acoustic, but it's not an acoustic guitar amp for acoustic guitars. It's just an electric guitar amp. Can't get a sound I want out of it unless I have something plugged into it, some, like a reverb or some pedals. But it actually does a good job of just amplifying what's coming out of this mod tone. So this actually is a pretty good sound. And I have the bass turned way up. If I've turned everything to like 12 o'clock, it sounds like this. Too bright. So I turn the bass up, the treble down, and I get. Let me do this backwards. But I'm going to change partners.
Well, whilst we're off the subject,
Uh-huh.
I saw a taped interview Richard Dawson did one time.
Uh-huh.
And the first episode he taped of Hogan's Heroes, he did with a Liverpool accent.
Oh,
And one of the producers told him, "Don't do that. Americans won't be able to understand it."
okay.
So he did a Cockney accent instead, which he used for the rest of the show. But during the first season of the show, A Hard Day's Night opened, and people were lining up around the blocks to see A Hard Day's Night in the movie houses. And he told the producer, "If you want to see if Americans can understand a Liverpool accent or not,
Yeah.
go try to get into A Hard Day's Night."
Well, I got to take this strap off here. I have heard so many things about producers and production meetings and so
Yeah.
forth like that. One was, I heard an interview with Robin Williams, and he was talking about Popeye.
Yeah.
And at the production meetings, they say, there's people that say, does he have to squint and mumble? You know, and,
They'd never seen the cartoons.
yeah. I mean, that's what Popeye did. I mean, one thing he was missing an eye, and he mumbled things under his breath, weird little things. And so they said, does he have to squint and mumble? He's like, looks at them like, ah.
Yeah.
Anyway. So this is yet another Stratocaster. Has a golden whammy bar.
Rock and roll time?
Well, who knows what I'll end up playing on it. Oh. Yeah. I want to do the video where the guy says, "I want a rock," and then he gets, hit with a rock.
Huh.
But you can make paper mache rock.
Yeah.
And I took a poll among children actually about if they would, what should be better. Okay. Needs a little tuning. If you would just have somebody hand him a great big heavy rock, or say, "I want a rock," and get hit in the head with one, and unanimously all the kids said that they wanted him to be hit in the head with a rock. So, anyway, sorry. Everybody has new strings. People ask me why I do this thing. I put the tuning fork, makes an A440. And I tune the guitar to itself after I get the ones. So this is a Mexican Stratocaster. Crank that up just a little bit.
A Lower California Strat.
Right. I think the factory's in Baja, California, which is part of Mexico.
Yeah.
But I'm not exactly sure what California means. I should look that up. So this is basically the top of the line, called a Players Strat. Top of the line are the Mexican ones. Anything more fancier than this would be made in Corona, California. But they use the good woods and the good pickups. This has noiseless pickups on it. Came with them, and it has the. So it's it's pretty nice guitar. Gold hardware, all gold screws, and a gold bridge, and a gold whammy bar. Noiseless pickups. It's pretty quiet, and it's so. I confess, I picked this one up. I traded a guitar that I wasn't playing anymore, and an amp that I've had in the show a couple times. It's a nice amp, but I have another one. It was a Fender Vibrochamp XD, so it's a tube amp with digital effects on it. Pretty nice. The tubes make it sound good. But I have the Super Champ XD, so the Vibrochamp was like a lesser of the two. I really couldn't see why I would. I've taken that Vibrochamp out a few times because I kind of liked it, but Super Champ was better, and I've got like 20 amps. I didn't. So I saw this there, and I was paying on the guitar I got last week, that other Mexican Strat. That does not have noiseless pickups, although it's fairly quiet when I'm not at home. And I got that one kind of cheap because somebody had been gouged up and somebody sanded it down and kind of refinished it, so it's this mottled look to it. So it's just kind of cool, but but then I was at the guitar shop paying for that a little bit because every week I give the guy money, and even if I'm paid off, I give him money anyway because sooner or later I'm going to buy.
Because sooner or later you're going to need another guitar.
That's right, and so I'm running out of places to put them though. So, so anyway, I went and I got this one. Yesterday, yesterday, when I went in there to give him some money, paying down my debt on the other one that I had. So with the trade-in, and I still owe something for the other one that I got last week, that red one, but this is a very different guitar, and I could have brought two of them. Last week I brought two Mexican Strats to show the difference between them, but the three of them, the three Mexican Strats that I have are all very different. They may look like the same guitar, just different color to somebody who doesn't know their guitars, but they play very differently. Not a good guitar. It's a great guitar. I might have bent the strings a little too much. Has new strings also. But I mean, I really like that one I was playing here last week, and yeah, actually two I played here last week. I love those two guitars; they're great Stratocasters. But that doesn't mean I'm not fascinated by this one. You see, I mean, it seems like a sickness. Maybe it is a sickness, but at least other people, they gamble, and just because you put a lot of money into a casino doesn't mean you're going to make it big someday. I'm not saying I'm going to make it big in the guitar world. Obviously, I have a little bit of extra income that I can spend at the guitar shop, maybe because I don't gamble or drink or smoke or anything like that. But people spend, my rationalization is like, well, how much would you spend? Say you like to drink a 6-pack of pretty good beer every day after work, and you smoke 1 or 2 packs of cigarettes a day. This is not unusual. This is typical. So a pack of cigarettes, like, $5 now. Get a couple packs, $10 in cigarettes, 6-pack of beer. Good beer is like, $8 maybe, a 6-pack, something like that, maybe more. I don't know. I haven't bought a beer for a while, but I don't know. You're young. How much does beer cost these days?
A little too much.
Yeah, okay.
That's all I know.
Yeah, well. So I mean, if you had a moderate like smoking and drinking habit, you could spend $20 a day easily.
Sure you could.
Yeah, very easily. So, guitar-wise, that's $140 a week. That's enough to
Start quite a collection of guitars.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've done actually. Because also there's a thing about an attorney who was disbarred and maybe sentenced up to 20 years in prison because she took like I don't know, like $800,000 or something like that. I was just reading about it today on the KCRG website.
Oh.
She had a gambling addiction, so she siphoned off like $800,000 or something like that off of her clients and their investments, their retirement, and their inheritance or whatever they're going to legacies or whatever.
At least you're doing it with your own money.
Well, I'm doing it with my own money, and I could sell this guitar.
Yeah.
I moved the strap button and I put a little thing here to hide where the hole was, a little screw and a little washer here. I could easily, put the strap button back to where it was, and it would be perfectly, just exactly the same condition as I bought it in. So anyway, so next week we're going to do Tom's Guitar Show from Uptown Bill's Coffee House. We got our Halloween extravaganza. That's the 28th of October. Can you believe that? It's almost over. It's October. I'll be there, with or without a costume. Hope some people come from the community.
Come on down and watch us.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll be back next week.